You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Talk with him, Mike. On. We just had a segment on that on the National Streaming Sports Show earlier. Anyway, welcome everybody. We had some new music to start the show with tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know what to play. I got this music I used to play for the college show that all of a sudden every time I play it, I start to get notes saying that somebody is getting paid for me using the stream. So I stopped using it, and we're going to play this little Frenchy sound. I don't know, it sounded kind of cool. Anyway, welcome everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're live on National Streaming Sports Roku channel. I want to thank the groups that allow me to share here. Obviously, John Gonzalez of Sports Authorities, Flo and the gang at Bottom Line Sports, Let's Talk Sports, Tanner D and the gang over there. Who else? Ken Krause at Golf Buds, Sports of All Sorts. And, of course, a quick shout-out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph's moved from Pittsburgh to Ocean City, Maryland, but he's still big in Pittsburgh sports, and he's still got a national footprint, and he's back doing the Tuesday Sports Corner every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smoke and Jim Frazier. Check him out. DDH, thumbs up. Mac McGrath, thumbs up. Good to have everybody with us tonight. We'll probably be off the next, I don't know. We'll be off next week because I've got a commitment. We won't be able to make the National Streaming Sports Show or do this show live. But we're heading towards our hiatus. I'll probably be on the following Wednesday because I want to follow the College Baseball World Series, and then we'll probably take our summer hiatus. You know, how long it'll be, depending whether there's news. If there's breaking news, we'll pop in. There's just not a lot, right, to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. Notre Dame and Wisconsin got a new series. They'll play, not a new series, but they'll play at Lambeau in 2026. 16-team playoff looks like a real reality, maybe as soon as 2026, or 2027, I guess. 14-team probably passed by, which we'll talk about a little bit. I've got an article in, I think, The Athletic about the top 25 coaches from the 2000s, which we'll get into tonight or some other night. Just things. There's not a lot of news, so I like to go back and look at some of the great. Wow, AC's got a long. You're going to cover my whole screen when I put that up. So we'll talk about some of that. I like to go back when we don't have a lot of football to talk about, actual games, to go back and look at some stuff nostalgic too. So we'll do that. And we'll look at some of the baseball. The conference tournaments are in play right now. There are a couple auto bids already filled. I know Columbia's in. We'll take a look at all of those and a little bit of news. We'll look at the last top 25, and we'll look and get ready for what? Get ready for a new college football season. Anyway, oh, my God, I got to get up here. AC's got a diatribe here, I think. Sorry, got to bring this up, but RG3 is one of the greatest college quarterbacks ever. There. And the way Ryan Clark attacked RG3 and his wife with hateful, racist comments should lead to Ryan Clark being banned from all mainstream platforms. This also shows, well, I don't want to get too much into this, but I won't disagree. Fair. You know, as far as Colin Kaepernick, I mean, if he could play, he'd be in the NFL. I keep saying that. He can't play. So, again, I don't disagree with any of your comments necessarily. Nobody should go down let me look into this story real quick. I do know the story from peripherally AC. I'll dive into it a little bit here. Let me hang on one second. I got the wrong. Oh, where'd I go? Jesus. What the heck did I do? Hold on, time out. AC got me so worked up, I got myself removed from the chat. Listen, racism has no place anywhere. I want to see what Ryan Clark said. To be fair to him, I've got to look it up. As far as whether, politics aside, there's too much politics in sports. We need to get away from that. I know it was about his interracial marriage, right? Or his interracial marriage. What did he actually say? We'll get into it. I don't have a problem doing this. Griffin reacted to blah, 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 blah. His public feud with about Angels. They were talking about Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. It's no longer about basketball. So they were feuding about, whether there was a racist issue. And we're not going to talk too much about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese here because they're now professionals. But you can't get personal with people like this stuff, right? Trying to see what he said. The one thing we know about RJ3 is he's not having conversations at home about what black women have to endure in this country. So I don't know that. I don't know that he's not having that conversation. I gotta believe with you. I gotta agree with you, RC. Or what's your name? RC. AC. Where do you make these comments, by the way? And I'm not going to tie this. If I dive into this deeper, I can probably find a political agenda here. I don't know. These are hateful comments. It's hate speech when you start talking like this. And it's, interracial relationships are all over the place, right? I don't have a problem with, listen, I am a hard, fast, conservative Republican. But I don't really care what people do with themselves as long as it doesn't affect me. I don't care about interracial relationships. I don't care about same-sex relationships. I don't care. I don't care until you start pushing it on me. And again, not the interracial stuff. Who cares? But when you start going down that road, all I want to do is, do what you want. Makes you happy. You're not hurting anybody. Keep your opinions to yourself too. And I guess he's entitled to his opinion. But when they're racist, call them out as racist. I'm not going to sugarcoat things here either. They get into, and it's ridiculous and childish to get into a hateful conversation when you're having a debate over sports, by the way. Listen, Caitlin Clark's treated different. We'll get into this maybe Sunday a little bit more, AC, where it's probably a better, more appropriate forum for this. But I mean, his attack, as I read through this even more, and I knew roughly what he was talking about, but I really didn't read all his comments. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. They're racist. They're childish. They're immature. They're backwards. Any words you want to use. So I don't know where the political part of this comes. I'd have to come through this. No, I understand now. Yeah, I knew that part, right? I'm reading a little more now, talking, what was hacking your wife. So I don't know. It's not good. Yes, I get that. Yes, we're good. I get it. Good evening, Rick Sherlock. How are you, my friend? Congrats to BB on his engagement. It's still not official, by the way. A lot of stories out there that, hang on, I got to try to get my screen back. AC sent this story, the show off the rails here earlier. I took myself out of the studio. I blew up my screen. As far as I've seen, it's still rumored that the engagement is Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson are official. Good luck to him. I mean, it just not a story I can find myself getting worked up a lot about. I think that Bill Belichick has coached his last NFL game because of this, as we talked about on a bunch of the shows I hosted and was on in the last week. I think this will seal his fate because this is not the type of thing NFL teams are going to take on. But his job at North Carolina is safe unless they want to pay him $30 million to go away. And as soon as they win some games in the fall, they won't care. Nobody will care. What do you got here? Even your grandma is talking about BB and his young girlfriend. It is shocking that it's a story. It's a story. And by the way, she made it the story. Again, this is what we talked about. And I don't want to spend we're only going to do about an hour because I want to be able to use this. By the way, I want to be able to use the show in my 9:00 slot on Friday because there won't be a one-on-one. I'm not going to play an encore show this week, and we're still debating. I'm still debating. I know Rick is trying to get me to continue the interviews, and if I can get myself to a point where I don't have work to worry about and I can get some of that stress level. Again, I said I would do these shows only as long as it didn't feel like a job. The interview show is starting to feel like a job, not the actual interviews themselves. I love them. I had so much fun with so many interviews I did this last winter and spring. But getting guests is stressful. Getting prepared, it's not so much. I mean, with work and everything it is, but I just out of the blue, I've been trying to friend and message Ed Marinaro, who you will know, Rick, for years. Great college star at Colgate. I think he finished third in the Heisman Trophy voting in the early 70s. Played on the Minnesota Vikings and the Jets. Was a two-time Super Bowl participant with the Vikings. And some of you might know him better as an actor. Joe Coffey on Hill Street Blues and TV movies. Anyway, I've gotten some positive responses, and if I get him to commit, then that might reinvigorate me. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So out of the blue, I had a couple guys that accepted friend requests, and we've reached out to. So we'll see if we can reignite my passion. I love doing it. And anybody who's watching this that I've interviewed, and we've had guys come on. I remember Kevin Mitchell I interviewed from the Mets come on one of the shows. I think a college football huddle, actually. Out of the blue. Matt Bruss pops in this show now and again. We'll get Matt on to talk about the St. John's. I guess they're not the Redmen anymore. What are they? I don't even know what they are now. But we'll do that. It doesn't take much to reignite it. So if you're one of the guys I've interviewed, don't think I don't enjoy the interviews. The interviews themselves, I have a passion for. I love them. You can't see the passion I have for 99% of the interviews I've done. There's a one or two here and there that maybe weren't as great. Maybe I wasn't as into it. Couldn't really get the other person engaged the way I would have liked to, but that's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's all about the behind the scenes stuff. And I've got to decide how much time I want to spend in retirement doing that. Now, maybe I'll be looking to fill time. I don't know, but we'll see. This is kind of a test case for me, I guess, what I'm talking about. So I got way off what I was going to talk about tonight. Anyway, Ed would be great. I think he would be great. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting catfished here first, to be honest with you. It's been so long. I've messaged him, I don't know, 8 or 9 times over the last couple of years with no response. Suddenly he friends me or accepts a friend request. And I looked at, he's got some posts on his site about Bitcoin and stuff, which makes me wonder. More recent ones, but then you go back a few months and he's got videos of himself talking about the Super Bowl and some other things. So I'm hoping I've got the real Joe Coffey. I'm sorry, Ed Marinaro, and that might get things back in the right gear. At the end of the day, I'm not going to. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard for me to explain, right? And if you haven't done it, it's just stressful, especially when you get guys and they go silent and you wonder if they're even going to show up, which we've had a few cases of people not showing up. Again, I'm not paying them. They don't owe me anything except, common decency. And 99% of the guys have shown up too. Just the worry of chasing people around, get them to reply. So we have fun. But I have fun doing these shows too. So it's whatever it is. We're great at doing your show and you owe us nothing more. Thank you for that. You've entertained me personally for well over a year now, and that's probably the end. Is this your goodbye note to me, AC? It's not me, it's you, but you've had enough. I understand. I'm just kidding. I'm in one of those moods today. I will be, Jack Hirsch and I will be doing the Friday morning Mac and Jack show together. Sonia's away, so I'll be hosting with Jack, and we're going to record it for the Roku audience tomorrow night. But I think I'm gonna go live on my platforms tomorrow, 5:00. I'll put something on Facebook tomorrow. And we'll have some fun. We'll probably be talking about the Knicks and get our game 1 win over the Pacers and some other stuff. So thank you for that, AC, by the way. I was just kidding. I know it's not your goodbye note. Anyway, there's a lot of talk about the college football playoff and expansion, which I don't believe can happen next year. But we're talking about going from 12 to, first they wanted 14 teams. And it looked like that was a pretty done deal until the Big Ten commissioner, Tony Petitti, has said, we want 4 automatic qualifiers. And the SEC commissioner, Greg Sankey, did not fight him on that, which means he's going to get 4 qualifiers, automatic qualifiers. And the rest of the conferences were like, well, the best thing about, a playoff is access to it. So I think it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to 16 teams, because you're not going to give 8 automatic bids to 2 conferences and then have 4 teams left over to play. It's just not going to happen. I know they're still working out the logistics. They aren't sure how they would play those first 4 first-round games, but they'll figure it out. Incorporate some of these crappy bowl games, whatever, the ones you want to keep, and get rid of the rest. So I think this is a good move by the NCAA playoff, not the NCAA, sorry, the playoff committee. No, you sound a little burnt. No, I'm not burnt out. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying here about this. I'm not burned out doing this. I get tired. I mean, it's hard this time of year to carry this show because it's just, we got to talk about Bill Belichick week after week. We'll talk some nostalgia. I hope I don't come across as burned out on this show or the shows I guest on or the Sunday Stream of Consciousness or the MLB update. The only place I'm burned out is chasing people for the one-on-one interviews, AC, that's all. The other shows are, quite frankly, are very easy to prepare for because I just follow the news and I follow your guys' lead in a lot of my shows. You guys have been my co-hosts on these shows, except for the one-on-one interviews. So there's no burnout. Don't think I'm burned out. If I was burned out and I told you I would do this until it felt like a job, I don't mean overall. It's just the interview portion part, just to be clear. This year's playoff just seemed good. Why mess with it? Because more is always better, AC. Look at the basketball tournament. We're going to have 76 or 92. More is not always better. I will reiterate for the umpteenth time, and I'll get myself an injunction from Basement Bob. I was always in favor of a 16-team playoff. Again, not my idea, just one that I happen to agree with a lot. 16 teams, 10 automatic qualifiers, all the conference champions in FBS 1 football. There's 10 leagues, 10 winners. I don't care if it's Montana State wouldn't be one, right? I don't care if it's Liberty. I don't care. It's all of them. So every conference, Conference USA, the Sun Belt, all get their conference champions in. And then we have 6 at-large teams. You're gonna if you can't get in that group, you don't belong in it. All these arguments we had last year about Alabama being out, Miami, South Carolina. You're worried about being the 13th best team in the country instead of the 12th. Where other champions are home. That's who should play. Had this argument with John DeLon forever. And again, every time I said it, I hope John's okay. But John DeLon thought the 18 playoff was going to be a participation trophy tournament. No, it's not. Not mine. The package that I push, all champions except for these 6 other best teams. I think it's more than fair. I don't care about blowouts. We don't care about blowouts in the basketball tournament. I don't care. Cream will rise or a Cinderella will rise. And we'll have some fun. And 10 league champions will get a chance to play for a true national championship. When you don't include all the champions, it's not a true championship race in my mind. Now, I've been talking about this for a long time. Rick can attest to it. AC, you've only heard it for a year. Rick's probably tired of hearing it. This year just seems like the best way to create a national championship that I've seen in your life. That I don't necessarily disagree with. Although there's times where I like the chaos of the polls, the poll system or the bowl system, if you will, where the pollsters picked the winners based on bowl results. It led to some chaos, but in some ways I liked it. But if we're going to have a championship tournament, let's put championships in there, champions in there. Because, by the way, I mean, I'm taking 6 more teams, right? So Notre Dame's one of them. The runner-up in the SEC is one of them. Maybe the third best team in the ACC is one of them. The second place team in the Big Ten is in. Maybe the third place team. Second place team in one of the other best of the power conferences. Maybe there's another independent that rises, although there aren't really independents. Who's independent now besides Notre Dame? UMass and Connecticut? I like it. I mean, it's the cleanest way to do it, but you're always going to have arguments, right? I mean, even in my system, oh, shit. It's not my system. I'm going to get sued. It's not my system. Even in that system, you're still going to have some arguments, right? But again, you'd be arguing that I don't want to hear that Alabama doesn't get in and Liberty got in. You didn't win your conference. I don't care that Liberty plays in a worse conference. We don't care in basketball. Why should we care in football? I want to see a true championship tournament. That's what I want to see. See a lot of people. Frank Laterzo's out there. Comment, Frank. I want to hear what you've got to say. Maybe we should have Frank on for a one-on-one interview about boxing. Frank still does some boxing. He writes about boxing. He does the Glove Fist on National Streaming Sports every Monday. I don't know if I could carry an hour interviewing about boxing, though. I wonder if I could do it. I think I could. We'd spend a lot of time on nostalgia, not the current state of boxing, because I have trouble following it. But back when I was a kid, I loved it. In my mind, there will always be your system. Thank you. Hey, don't say that out loud. You're going to be sued. It's a true story, AC. You probably have not heard it. When I first espoused this, platform. It's when I was doing a blog. And I may go back. When I retire, I think one thing I will start doing is my weekly blog. That one I just do 12 minutes of me ranting about what I'm pissed off about. Well, I did one, I think in 2020, early on in my career doing this. And I went off on the NCAA and espoused or talked about the virtues of this 10, every champion, all these 10 conference champions getting in automatically and given 6 at-large bids. Done. Easy peasy. I do my 10-minute rant. I post it. Got tons of views. And I get an email from this guy who said I was infringing on his copyright. He wrote a book 20 years ago from his mom's basement. Well, I don't know if that's where he wrote it. I know his mom bought one of the 3 copies that were sold. And told me he was going to order a cease and desist, and I was stealing it like many others had through the years, and he wasn't being given credit, and I was stealing his intellectual property. I know he was typing from his mom's basement. It was obvious. Again, I've heard this format talked about for years, decades. Well, not decades. Well, decades. Yeah, I'm old. Decades would be 20 years ago, right? 2 decades. Look at that math. That's that Perth math. So anyway, I told him to go pound salt. I didn't say it was my idea. I said it was an idea that I backed. And he kept sending me letter after letter after letter. He sent me a letter. Somehow he got my address. I have no idea how. I should be scared about that, I suppose. But he sent me a cease and desist, and it just made me talk about it more. Anyway, that's the story of Basement Bob, by the way. So we'll see what happens, whether they do this or not. Again, I don't believe, from what I know, it would be the 2026 season, so the 2027 bowl, college football playoff. To my knowledge, that's the way it would be. So we'll see. I hope that happens. Let me look. I want to go through this. Now, remember, we're talking about the 2000s. So what time is it? I want to do some baseball before we get done. And I think we're only going to do an hour tonight. So I want to go through this list that I found. We get stock up and stop down. I think I want to do this list. Top 25 coaches. Oh, that's the top 25 players of the 2000s. We could do that too. But I wanted the top 25 coaches of the 2000s. So that's every coach who coached from 2000 on, for those who can't follow basic math like me. What a nerd, right? Basement Bob, you'll hear him. You've probably heard him referred to a few times on this show. So let's do this. Top 25. Number 25, and you'll tell me if you agree with some of these picks. Mike Leach. I think I might have Mike Leach higher on this. He brought Texas Tech back to relevancy. He had them at a top 5, I believe, in like mid 2000s. Turned Washington State around. Turned Mississippi State around before he tragically died. And who knows where Mississippi State might be right now. If you think anything is ever worth repeating, I would feel honored if you would repeat it on your shows. If you think anything I say is ever worth repeating, I would feel honored if you repeat it on your shows. So there you go. Well, the problem was I didn't give him credit, right? So I didn't know about his book. 3 people bought it, including his mom. Chip Kelly, Oregon and UCLA, 24. Bill Snyder, very underrated coach. 2 Big 12 championships, 2 Fiesta Bowl appearances, 2 top 5 finishes in his second go-around with Kansas State. Great coach. Talk about turning programs around. Twice he did it. Kirk Ferentz, I think this is basically hang around long enough and you make a list. I mean, I like Kurt Franz. He seems like a nice guy and a decent football coach, but this, he's never had a great team. I think they made a football playoff one year and got hammered. Maybe he didn't. 2 Big Ten championships. That's good. I thought they were, he's been bowl eligible for 23 out of 24 seasons. That's really good. Mark D'Antonio from Cincinnati and Michigan State, like him, underrated coach. Michigan State, you can tell, has been floundering since he left. That's a good pick. Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma and USC. This leaves a little to be, I don't know. He coached them into a playoff, right? He was 1 win away at USC. You win at Utah, tough place to win, by being in another one. He's still just 41 years old. This one, I'm trying to think of some other guys I could put on this list before him, but, he did turn things around at Oklahoma. He hasn't been as good as advertised at USC, but there's still time. He's 41 years old. Kyle Whittingham, I'm all over this one. He's at number 19. I might even have him higher. Mark Richt, Georgia and Miami. Rick, you might have an opinion on it if you're still within typing distance. Mark Richt was a good coach, never got this team over the top. He got them 2 SEC championships at Georgia. He could never quite get over the hump at Miami. Had some great starts to years that fizzled out. Now, we saw probably how good a coach he was, so that program went in the toilet for a while after he left. So, made a bowl game in all his 18 years. I guess Mark Richt belongs on this list, maybe a little higher or lower, I guess, than 18. Les Miles, won a national championship. Got to be on a list somewhere. Number 17. Oklahoma State, LSU, where he won his championship, and he should have never gone to Kansas. Things didn't work out well there. You don't ever need to give anyone credit for a sports take like that. Well, I thought so. Basement Bob and his mom, our lawyer, thought differently. I got to find those. I should read all of them on the air. They're so funny. I'm pretty sure he wrote them in crayon and his mom typed it out for him. If you're out there, Basement Bob, I love you. James Franklin, Vanderbilt, and Penn State. He's got 1 college football appearance last year. I'm not so sure. Gary Patterson, yes, he had a really good run, 6 conference championships. He had 1 undefeated season, got screwed out of a playoff appearance at TCU. Gary Patterson deserves to be on this list. Frank Beamer at 14, 100%. 4 ACC championships, 5 top 10 finishes, 10 double-digit win seasons, 5 BCS appearances before the playoff. Definitely. Always my feeling with Mark Richt as well, Rick. Mark Richt. Rick. That's hard to say. Lacked the finishing touch with some talented Georgia teams. He had some talented Miami teams too, quite frankly. He just couldn't find somebody who could throw a pass. Or call an offense where they threw an intermediate pass at Miami. Everything was down the field. They ran the ball like those. 2016, 17. It's a really good teams, good talented teams. A little lacking at quarterback and at offensive coordinator. Frank Beamer definitely belongs on this list. Jimbo Fisher won a national championship. Things didn't go as well as he planned at Texas A&M, but, still belongs on this list. Brian Kelly, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Notre Dame. 1 title game appearance where he got blown out. 2 appearances in the championship playoff. 4 top 5 finishes. 12 double-digit win seasons. I buy it. for now. Marcus Freeman will replace him on this list before the 2000s are over. So when I'm talking about the end of this, not by the time the decade's over, the next 20 years, I'll be 85. We'll be doing this show, and I'll be talking about how Marcus Freeman is in the top 5 on this list. I know Rick disagrees with that. Ryan Day at number 11. Where would Ryan Day be on this list if he hadn't won this national championship last year? Is a great question. 3 Big Ten championships, 4 college football appearances, 2 national championship appearances, a 70-10 record. The guy who will be in trouble at Ohio State if they don't beat Michigan this year and don't win the national championship to cover it up. Hello, Paul Spada. How are you, my friend? Our Wisconsinite, Boston fan. Ryan Day, number 11. Where's he fall on this list if they hadn't won the national championship last year? He'd have to be on the list, right? But I got to put him in the 20s. Unemployed. Is that Marcus Freeman? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're talking about, yeah. So you're talking about where Ryan Day would be if he hadn't won a national championship after losing to Michigan. Embarrassingly, a bad Michigan team. Unemployed is probably right, Rick. Great point. Probably still finishes on his list, but he's unemployed. That's a good call, my friend. Paul's doing great. That's awesome. Chris Peterson. We don't talk enough about Chris Peterson. Great things at Boise State. No national championships, but he had 2 undefeated seasons, 7 conference championships, 9 top 15 finishes, 2 BCS wins, 4 BCS New Year's Day 6 appearances. Remember, he was at Boise State. That was important. And then he went to Washington and turned that team into a really good team. That 2006 Fiesta Bowl upset of Oklahoma, one of the biggest upsets, biggest moments in college sports history, because one of these group of 5 teams had knocked off a power conference team, a really good Oklahoma team. He stepped away from coaching at 55 a few years back. He's one of the best, most underrated coaches in my lifetime. Mac Brown, North Carolina, Texas, and then North Carolina again. And now he's probably back in the TV studio this year. Won a championship in 2005. Probably would have won another one if Colt McCoy hadn't gotten hurt in the title game in 2009. Certainly was able to put together great talent at Texas. That helps. But remember, similar to Nick Saban, and by the way, he's not in a class of Nick Saban. We'll be talking about him in a second. Texas hadn't been setting the world on fire before Mac Brown came in there or after he left. Not until the last few years under Sark. Mac Brown, good football coach. Now, you guys all know that I do a lot of defending of Jim Harbaugh on this show. Jim Harbaugh is ranked 8th on this list by The Athletic, and I think this is a travesty. He should not be in the top 10. 1 national championship, 3 college football appearances, 9 double-digit win seasons. I know that he turned Stanford around. I always talk about how he turns everybody around. He finished 12-1, nearly got to a playoff with Stanford. That's nearly impossible. But he's not top 10. Who can I move into top 10 that's not? I can't put Ryan Day in there above him, not with his record against Brian Kelly. Would I put in the top 10 and drop him out? Frank Beamer? Maybe I can't drop him out. I mean, Les Miles has this as good a track record as Jim Harbaugh in my mind. Maybe I can't drop him. Trying to find somebody. No, maybe I can't. Was there somebody off this list? I'm going to say Frank Beamer. I'm going to put Frank Beamer in the top 10 of the 2000s. I'm dropping Harbaugh back to 11. Just can't be in his top 10 with these guys in my mind. Jim Tressel. Well, Jim Tressel's probably a pretty good comparison to Jim Harbaugh, right? I guess I'm going to have to say if Harbaugh's out of top 10, Tressel's out, but I don't have another guy to bring in. Jim Tressel, again, is remembered for the end a lot more than the national championship game, the 3 title game appearances. He did have Andrew Luck at Stanford, which if you have Andrew Luck, you're going to be able to turn things around. But again, let's not put the cart before the horse. Is Andrew Luck really Andrew Luck without Jim Harbaugh? Jim Harbaugh's been a pretty good quarterback whisperer through his career. Let's not forget, he was this close to 2 Super Bowls with Alex Smith. This close to 2 Super Bowl appearances with Alex Smith, and he got to one with Colin Kaepernick. Those are not anybody's ideas of great quarterbacks, but he found a way to get the best out of them. Got the best out of Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck became a great pro. I think that had a lot to do with Jim Harbaugh. We'll see how J.J. McCarthy does in the pros, and that will only enhance my argument. Maybe Jim Harbaugh belongs in here. Bob Stoops, 100%. 1 national championship, 10 Big 12 championships when the Big 12 was still a big deal. 4 BCS title game appearances. Oklahoma's not been the same since he stepped away. His only title was in 2000. But every one of those games, he was in it with a chance to win it. He stepped away in 2017, and Oklahoma's not been the same since. Maybe a couple of years under Lincoln Riley, they were all right. Dabo Swinney at 5, 100%. 2 national championships, 9 ACC championships, 6 top 5 finishes, 4 title game appearances, 29-game winning streak. 100%. Now we get to the top 4, and it's going to be a little interesting here. No, I'm going to give you number 1 because I think there's no doubt. Number 1, there's 0 doubt. I don't know if we're going to take any college baseball today. Nick Saban is the GOAT. Nick Saban had 7 national championships, 11 SEC championships, 18 top 10 finishes, 4 Heisman Trophy winners. He's the GOAT. Now it gets dicey. Urban Meyer, Pete Carroll, and Kirby Smart are in the top 4. Saban's number 1. I think it's a given. Kirby Smart's got 2 national championships, 4 college football appearances, 3 SEC championships. In how many years? Now, he took over a 9-win team from Mark Reich. He didn't have to turn his team 100% around. Took him a little time to get going. Pete Carroll had 2 national championships, 7 Pac-10 championships when it was still a really good league. 7 top 5 finishes in 9 seasons, 34-game winning streak. This is going to raise some ire from some people. I'm changing this rankings. Urban Meyer, 3 national championships, 2 additional undefeated championships, 7 conference championships, 9 top 5 finishes. This is going to rankle some of you guys. They have Urban Meyer, 2nd, Pete Carroll, 3rd, Kirby Smart, 4th. I'm going to leave Kirby Smart 4th. If he wins another national championship, he jumps to 2. But I'm going to put Pete Carroll 2nd on this list. USC had become irrelevant. A historic football program. Danny Fuller, if you're out there, I'm sorry. You haven't seen Danny as much lately. I hope he's doing okay and he's not angry at us for any reason. I doubt that. I think Danny's just busy. Danny's a really busy guy. Anyway, look, he took over a team that had been kind of morebound for a while. Great college coach. I know there were some issues that would not be issues today, by the way. Even though Urban Meyer's got one more national championship, by the way, this wasn't without some taint. I'm putting Pete Carroll first, so that's going to make my top 10. I'll leave Nick Saban 1. I'm putting Pete Carroll 2. I'll put Urban Meyer 3. Kirby Smart 4, but on the verge of being second. Dabo 5. I'm great with that. I'm going to leave Stoops at 6. I'm going to move Mac Brown up to 6, actually, and drop Stoops down to 7. Harbaugh, I'm dropping out. I'm going to leave Tressel in there at 8. I'll leave Chris Peterson in at 9, and I'll bring in Ryan Day to number 10. Sorry, Ryan Day isn't in the top 10. He is now. Urban Meyer can't coach. He can only recruit. Well, that's part of the job requirement, though, AC. I will say you're right. Pete can coach. And I knew this would come as well. Pete Carroll get out before the posse. But that's happened a lot in the world of college football, Rick. We can say that, well, some guys don't get out before the posse. Jim Tressel didn't get out before the posse unfairly. None of these guys would have got fired. There'd have been no posse to get out in front of that. He was coaching college football today, and I understand. Again, I wasn't happy when Reggie Bush got his Heisman back, but how about getting off of Pete Carroll's butt if you're going to give Reggie Bush's Heisman back? How about you give them back the championship game appearances that got taken away from them? Now, I'm not a big fan of Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back, as we know. If I'd get a speeding ticket, tomorrow in Albany, New York, where they've lowered the speed limit from 30 to 25. Brilliant move, by the way. Absolutely brilliant. And 10 years from now, they raise it back to 30. Am I going to be able to go get my fine back? No. But anyway, just saying, Pete Carroll's transgressions are now greatly exaggerated because they'd be okay today. And it was just a house. Harbaugh got out before the posse. Again, more nonsense. I mean, we'll get into that. I mean, I can get into this right now. And we'll skip the college baseball for this week. But all these guys, I don't care if we're talking about Harbaugh. I don't care if we're talking about Pete Carroll. I don't care if we're talking about, actually, it makes my argument for me, doesn't it? Jim Tressel. Who else has been in trouble on this list? Anybody? Not really. Everybody's trying to get over. Everybody's trying to circumvent the rules. Everybody's trying to get an edge, whether it's game day, recruiting, whatever it is. Every single program, every single coach is trying to get an edge. And if you want to get somebody, you'll get them. Urban Meyer, another one, covered up a domestic abuse allegation against one of his coaches. Ryan Day should thank his lucky stars. The fact that there's 4 coaches on this list, I think helps make my argument that everybody's doing something to get an edge. covering up crimes, giving people houses, hiring dads to coach on the staff. Did we forget Squeaky Queen Jay Wright at Villanova hired Brunson's dad? Then the Knicks hired his dad, or after the Mavericks hired his dad. Everybody looks for an edge, including AC, apparently. I've been looking for an edge in life. Who can say they haven't? I mean, I don't drive 25 miles an hour in Albany. Idiots. And now it's all over the place. It's Cohoes, which some of you guys don't know where the hell I'm talking about. But all these cities around Albany now are doing the same thing. You drive 25 miles an hour, your car's barely moving. Just an FYI. My car won't go 25. You're not that bad, buddy. You're all good. Oh, God. What else did I miss? I don't think we're getting at college baseball today. Give you the top 25. Let me just give you, I'll give you this. I'll give you who's, can I find who's in already? Do I have that up still? Did I lose it? I've had so much stuff up and down. Here's the final rankings before the tournaments all started, by the way. They have cameras to send you a ticket. No, well, yeah. They sent out warnings originally, Rick. I think the first week they sent out, I swear to God, they sent out like 10,000 warnings. I have yet to drive 25 in Albany. Or Cohoes, or Schenectady. Any of the places that's 25, I have yet to drive 25. I have a bit of a heavy foot. I also should knock on wood. I'm not going to say what I was just going to say. Get myself in trouble, challenge the universe. I'm not going to do that. $25 is too slow, guys. I mean, through a school zone, all right, fine. 15 miles an hour. I'm good with that. Down a normal city street, 25 miles an hour. Stop. Now, you shouldn't be driving 50. But you can keep it 30 and I'll go 35. So you make it 25 and I go 30. I get it. I get your little game. I know where you're coming from. It's kind of like changing the rules in sports because I won't do what you want me to do. We change the rules. I won't drive 30. I drive 35. So to get me to drive 30, instead of changing my driving habits, you change the rules. I said 15. I did say 15 for school zone, and I'm okay with it. I get it. If I see a kid in a crosswalk, I'm going to stop. I'm not trying to beat him to the center of the road. Just because I mentioned college baseball, I have to say Jacoby Ellsbury was the best college player I ever saw in college. I saw a lot of good ones. He was good. Warren Morris, I think, was the greatest college baseball player I ever saw. Played for LSU. Didn't really make it in the pros. He was one of the greatest college players I ever saw. And the greatest coach, you guys who have watched me long enough, you know who the greatest coach is. That's Augie Garrido. The 100% the best. Won multiple national championships, Cal Fullerton, multiple national championships at Texas. One of the great motivators of all time. Here's your top 10 heading into the conference tournaments and then the College World Series. Texas has moved into the 1 spot. LSU is 2. North Carolina 3. Oregon 4. Arkansas 5. Oregon State 6. Florida State 7. Vanderbilt and Georgia 8 and 9. And then Auburn rounds out the top 10. And I did want to tell you guys who was already in. There's a projected field. I had this up, and I think I lost it here. Nope. Well, I guess I'm not going to tell you. Let's just see. Maybe this was it. Oh, auto bid tracker. There it is. Let's see who's got bids already before we wrap it up. We got a few minutes left. I said we talk some baseball. We're going to talk some baseball. Here's already automatic bids that are in. Ivy League, Columbia. This is their 8th appearance. Their last appearance was in 2022. Holy Cross. This is their 12th appearance. The last was 2017. They're the only ones in yet so far, guys. We still got the American Athletic, the American East, the Atlantic 10, Atlantic Coast, Atlantic Sun, the Big 12, the Big East, Big South, the Big 10. By the way, all these league championships make this championship tournament. Do we notice this NCAA football, college football committee? All the league championships are going to compete in super regionals that will start on, let me give you a date. Bracket, regional brackets. I just want home. I think I'll get it here. Give me the dates. Somebody won't give me the dates. Here we go. Future dates. Here, oh, come on, dudes. That's not what I want. I want to give you the dates when we start. Holy Cross. There you go. AC's part of the country. We got ourselves an underdog to root for. College World Series schedule. Here we go. This will give you an idea of when we're going to. Right? Selection show is Monday, May 26th. Can you guys hear that? Because that's driving me nuts. Hang on. Put a mute on that. We got to get going here in a couple minutes. So we got the selection show on the 26th, Monday night. The regionals will start on Monday and go to Friday and go to Monday on May 30th to June 2nd. So that's coming up just next weekend. Super regionals will be that same, I guess, next weekend, Friday to Monday, June 6th to 9th. And then the College World Series itself will start on June 13th, and it will wrap up either on the 22nd or the 23rd. So we'll probably do some shows. We aren't doing a show next week, remember. I've got a previous commitment. And we'll see. We'll see what our we usually do a 6-week hiatus, 2-month hiatus on this show before college ball games start. We'll see how it goes. I think I'll take the week off, maybe that I'm in Mystic. We'll see how it goes. I like this music for this show, by the way. I kept getting myself. I kept getting like a tag put on it that I was sharing revenue with one of the songs that I use. Not the main song I use for most of my shows. So I thought I'd play around with this. I did buy these songs, by the way, for about $3. Even the one I was getting an infringement and sharing revenue with, I downloaded and paid for myself. I like it. Put your comments about the theme, the new theme for the college football show. Kind of cool. All right, guys. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks College Football / Sports Huddle. We talked some fun stuff tonight. We had a little bit of conversation. We try to keep it light. We try to have some fun. We get a little riled up now and then, but we have some fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. AC, Rick, thanks for your participation. The rest of you guys who watch, don't be afraid to comment. I see you are out there. For all the groups that let me share, thank you very much. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks College Football Huddle. Where'd my music go? We'll see you later. Have a great night. Bye-bye.